Welcome back to Universe. I'm Andrew, and in this video, I am playing RoboMon. If you saw the previous video I did on this, you know that I'm going to be battling against my first PvP opponent. Or I don't know if the PvP is the right term. It is still an automated AI system, but rather than being a random wild encounter RoboMon, it's going to be another RoboMon trainer. This is my rival, Tabitha. I am trying to leave Copper Ridge, and I've just opened to the first battle map page. So let's make room on the table so I can turn this vertically and hit the QR code to start some battle music. Now that we're in the mood, Tabitha says, I guess it's up to me to show you the ropes. Just don't keep me tied up too long. I've got places to be. So again, if you didn't see my previous RoboMon video, it should be crowdfunding right now, raising money on GameFound so you can back for your own copy of the game. I went into a lot of information in the previous video talking about how a lot of the game systems work, so I probably won't go into as much detail this time, but we'll be playing this battle and then seeing how far our adventure takes us today. Also, this is a full spoiler playthrough, so if you don't want spoilers, just watch as much as you feel like you can until you want to stop, back the game, and wait for your own copy. So anyway, I'm going to be battling with Pandow and Treadle. I have Sparky here, but Sparky won't be participating in this battle because it is a 2v2. Because this is the first competitive battle, I think is the official term, I'm being sent back to the rules reference that covers your battle against Tabitha, which will be the template, the prototype from which we will resolve all competitive battles. But we're not going to read all of that. I will give you the short version and just explain it as we go. So down here there are 6 slots for RoboMon. Only 2 of them are filled in, which means Tabitha has 2 RoboMon she's going to battle with. Presumably tougher opponents might have more than 2 RoboMon. Only 2 of them would be out at a time, but as we defeat them they might send out more. So it says verse 8 and 9, so I'm going to go into the verse deck and pull out the matching RoboMon. Here we have Saber Shock and Nosferatu with some digits in there. So there is Saber Shock. It's got 9 health, 6 speed with a little symbol there. That means it has agility. It is able to move diagonally. Most RoboMon can't do that. 1 armor token and 86 speed, which is quite fast. And then you can see its attacks and its priority targets there. I'm going to put that here in the number 1 position. You can look at Nosferatu with a 0 and a 2, 6 health, 5 movement, and it has flying, so it can go over some terrain, including these boxes and this pond. Only 48 speed, and then of course its moves, including Whirlwind, and then those timer we don't need to worry about because this is not a wild RoboMon battle. Because we're playing on a battle map in versus mode, we do need pieces, tokens, to represent these RoboMon on the board. So we're going to go over here, and these came at the game. These are, I'm sure this is just the prototype quantity, but these are dual layered. On the back you can see these circles. That one actually fell out, but yeah, you actually just pop them out and you can put them back in, so you don't necessarily get to see all of the RoboMon coming up in the future, which is kind of cool. So let's find 50 and 43. So 43, this should be Nosferatu, and just pop that guy out, and there's his little movement token with reminders for his type and his movement bonus of flying. Put him on this X here for his starting position. And number 50, popping out from the bottom, we've got the Saber Shock with agility, and it's an electric type, so he'll be here. Well, we need tokens for our own guys too, so let's go into this other set of circular RoboMon tokens and find number 4 and number 59. Number 4 is our Pandow, and 59 is Treadle. So there's some good looking RoboMon tokens, and we'll put them out over in these starting spaces. At this point, I guess I could have chosen Sparky. So I guess we do get to see the enemy RoboMon first, based on the way the steps are laid out, but I think I'll stick with these, try it out. Checking back at our type chart, we have fire and grass, and they have lightning and flying. It looks like grass will be strong against lightning, but weak against flying, or air, I suppose. And then air is going to be strong against both grass and fire. So both of these guys need to be very careful of Nosferatu. Because they both have armor, so they both get 1 armor token. And let's assign the action tokens. So the fastest is actually Saber Shock with 86. Next is Pandal with 50. Then Nosferatu with 48. And finally the slow Treadle, only at 28. Now we need to roll the 7 action dice we'll be using in the battle. Let's see what we have to work with. A couple more armor, some movement, which is actually relevant, although pretty sure we would have liked more attack. This is going to limit our attack options quite a bit, but we'll see what happens. Saber Shock is going first, and so we need to roll a d4 to see what he wants to do. A 1 means, go ahead and take a look at this again. We rolled a 1, which we did. He's going to scratch. On a 2 to 3, he would shock, and on a 4, he would pounce. And it also indicates what his target is. He is going to try to target the RoboMon with the highest speed. So on a 1, speed, highest. Our highest speed is Pandal, so Saber Shock is going to try to move and scratch Pandal, but his movement is 6. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and not quite make it into range. Actually, we should look back at him for a second because Scratch is actually a ranged attack. So this targeting symbol means it is a ranged attack. The 2 dots next to it that look like a colon is actually the indicator of how far his range can reach. So with Shock, his range would be 5 because of the 5 dots. Scratch just has 2, so 1, 2 is not quite enough to reach Pandal. So that's nice, he's getting into range for us, but that's all Saber Shock can do, so Pandal can then activate. We really don't have many attack symbols. We do get our action tokens. So this is awkward because I think I want to get this grass move attacking against Saber Shock for the advantage. But if Pandal moves 3, it'll be in the way. I'm actually going to move him over here with a movement die and maybe just not do anything else. He could use Fireball. He can use our token for a star, and we could do a Fireball at level 1. Take a look at that. So the more stars you spend, the stronger the Fireball. If you spend 1, you do 1 damage. If you spend 2, you do 3 damage. If you spend 3, you do 6 damage. If I didn't roll any, I could use this token as 1, or I could use it as something else. I would like to use it as a basic attack symbol, which we did roll 1 of, so we could do a basic attack at level 2 for 3 damage, but that would require us to move up to him because Slam doesn't have a range attack. But I don't want to do that, so our only option, I do want to move this way, so I can only do a 1-star Fireball, which would cost 2 energy for only 1 damage. I think I just will skip it, which feels weird, but hopefully it will work out. Next up is Nosferatu, so we'll roll for that RoboMon, and got a 3. 3 means she's going to use Whirlwind against a fire type if possible. Movement of 5 though, and Nosferatu does not have agility, so cannot move diagonally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even RoboMon can't go through the tree because it doesn't have any squares, doesn't have any grid lines. So fortunately we don't get hit by that Whirlwind. And then Treadle can go, and we're going to use 3 other movements to move 2, 4, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And Treadle is going to use Fertilizer Bomb, which costs 3 energy, which is almost half of Treadle's total. We do need to spend 1 star, so that's what we're going to use this token for. And even just a single star is going to deal 4 damage. Grass does have advantage against lightning, so our modifier die will be the green one, and that's a +2 for 6 damage. Saber Shock has a shield which blocks 2 of it, and then he'll take the other 4, leaving him with 5 remaining health. And we end up actually using a bunch of our movement, so let's roll up our dice for round 2. See what Saber Shock comes out of the gate with. I need to keep that and see. Saber Shock's action is 3, which is going to be to use Shock on an air or water type. So the way it's worded, I'm honestly not totally clear on what it does because we don't have an air or a water type. Either we get to choose or it just attacks the closest one. I think attacks the closest one makes the most sense. The other thing I'm not totally clear on is that the rules do say when a RoboMon is moving, it will only move as far as it needs to, in order to make its ranged attack. And both of Saber Shock's, well, not Pounce, but Scratch and Shock are both ranged. I don't know if it would actually move away in order to reach that full distance, or if it's happy to just stay in melee using ranged attacks. Seems like it would make for a more dynamic battle if they were moving away to make ranged attacks, but it would also be hard to adjudicate what direction backward they move. So for now, I'll just assume they stay in melee. So Saber Shock is using Shock against Treatle. Shock is an electric attack, and electric is disadvantaged against grass, so we'll be using the red modifier die. But Shock does 5 damage, so let's see how that ends up. 5, actually we rolled a miss for Saber Shock. Complete miss, no damage, very nice. So I rolled a few stars this time, and Treatle really just needs 1 star to make a good fertilizer bomb, especially considering it has advantage. So I think I'm going to spend 1 movement for Pandal to move 3, and that puts it 1, 2, 3 away in order to use its range 3 fireball. So I've got to spend 2 energy for that. I started with 11, and let's use the action token plus these 2 special dice to make a 6-point fireball. No advantage or disadvantage against air, even though air does have a strength against fire. It doesn't work the other way around. So we'll roll the black die, and we get a 0. So not bad, not good. Sometimes not bad is good. So 6 damage minus the 2 armor is going to be 4 more, bringing Nosferatu down to just 2 life left. It does mean it's Nosferatu's turn though, so we'll roll for it, and it got a 1, which means it's going to want to bite the fastest RoboMon, which is the Pandal, so it'll move as necessary to get into range of its melee attack and use Bite. Bite is a normal type attack, so we'll just modifier die -1, and Bite is a 3 damage attack, so that's reduced down to 1. Fortunately, we didn't roll any shields, and we did use the action token, so we can't block it. This is actually my first RoboMon damage, I think. 1 damage on Pandal. Then Treatle is going to use Fertilizer Bomb again with just the star on its action token. The special symbol does spend 3 more energy for that, bringing it down to just 1 energy. That's going to do 4 damage with a green advantage die. +3 is 7, which is overkill for finishing off Saber Shock. So we'll take him out of the battle along with his card and start up a new round. So bunch of movement again. I feel like we've been rolling a lot of that. Pandal will be first because second is now first. We just need to do 2 more to Nosferatu with no more armor. Treatle is basically out of commission, to be honest. It only has 1 energy left, which isn't enough to use either of its attacks. I could use him to soak damage if necessary, but I actually probably would rather avoid that. Let's just use a 2 symbol slam attack with Pandal. It's going to be 3 base damage. Anything -1 or better will win us. -1 is fine. 3 is reduced down to 2, which is Nosferatu's remaining hit points. And with that, Tabitha is defeated. May as well keep these guys nearby for future use. Now that the battle's over, we can put all our tokens back, reset their energy to full, but Pandal still has 1 damage. And now at the bottom it says, if you win, get 3 coins, 2 batteries, and turn to 1703. So I'll take my 3 coins, 2 batteries, and turn to 1703. She says, wow, I underestimated you, but don't worry, I won't make that mistake next time. Gain 1 small repair kit, which we could use to heal damage from RoboMon outside of battle. All right, puts us at 2 small repair kits. And now we would fill in that black bubble on the stop sign, and we'd be able to actually proceed to page 3. And here we are, the old road. Hit that music. Boom! The old road still carries the scars and remnants of the Great Collapse and ensuing war. However, over the years as the environment was rebuilt, the area went from desolate to teeming with life and is now home to more creatures than you can shake a graphene tube at. Hikers, bird watchers, and nature lovers from all over Alloy flock to the old road to enjoy the sights and sounds There's also been an unusual number of damaged RoboMon wandering around lately as well, which should probably be investigated. And then we can take a look around the environment. Now down here you might have noticed it says back to page 3. This is page 3. It means page 1. Minor typo again. All things are prototype here. And I missed this symbol right up here. This means we need to go to a cutscene immediately. So 3003. Meanwhile, location redacted. Ominous elevator and smile. As presumably the villain looks over his grand design in a shadowy room illuminated by yellow and red. So we get a little bit of that third-person omniscient perspective as we go through. I'm going to pretend I'm coming up right this way. So, this is the first thing we would see, right? Walking this way. I mean, we go that way to that lady there. Looks like it might be a bird watcher, but let's explore 2103. So I actually found an old buried hatch, and I decided to go down inside of it and start looking around. A bunch of old-style robots and a few RoboMon in disrepair with an old fix-it bot trying to take care of them, but it's short on supplies, and I have the opportunity to share a supply with it. So I can either lose a component, a repair kit, or a reprogrammer. I do have 2 repair kits, 3 reprogrammers. I really don't have that many components. I think the wire counts as a component. I just have 1 of those. But I think, they need help fixing things. Let's give it a repair kit. It says you offer a repair kit to the fix-it bot, which takes it and immediately deconstructs it, merging the parts into itself. It almost seems to grow a bit taller, and it immediately gets to work fixing the hydraulics on a burned Viper. After rebooting it, the burned Viper skitters to life and appears very glad. After having moved, you find something on the floor where it was waiting. Gain 3 silver. I feel like 3 silver is not as valuable as repair kit. Maybe it costs 2 for the repair kit, not sure. Seems like I can only do one of those options once, so I'll leave it there. Hopefully you can't read that from up there, can you? We'll keep exploring and talk to this lady with binoculars. And this is 1103. She wants to battle me immediately. So here we go. It is time for another battle. Hit the music. So we've got Pandal and Treadle. And she only has 1 RoboMon, which is number 11, a Hydron. Take a look at that guy. 9 health, 4 speed with flight, 1 armor, and 20 speed, kind of slow. Heck, water mortar, and squall. Put him up here. 1 armor. And in speed order, we have Pandal at 50, then Treadle with 28, and Hydron with only 20 speed. But it looks like we're mostly just going to be moving up. Hopefully we roll some movement, otherwise we won't be doing much at all. We got 3. We can also use our movement, or our action tokens, to move some more. So let's get those out. You can use the other side. The defend side has movement or armor, and the attack side has attack or special attack. Hydron has an advantage against RoboMon that are near water, but there's no water on this map, so we don't have to worry about that with its squall attack. It is a water type, so it'll be strong against fire, and fire will be weak against it, but our grass is actually strong against water again, so if we can get Treadle to use its fertilizer bomb, that could be another big hit for us. The Hydron is pretty slow at 4, so I think we can go ahead and just move into range to get this battle going. Panda will move twice for a total of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can't do anything else. There's no range. I could use this and move again. It's going to move 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It has a very big range on its range attacks, though. So actually, we probably do want to close in on it as fast as we can. But if I use this as movement, I can't use it as armor. We do have 1 armor die though, but I'm gonna use all the movement I have available, and hopefully I don't take too much damage. So we'll use that for movement. Then Treadle can move with 1 more, 1, 2, and same thing. I don't think we have to worry about it getting hit. 3, 4. Well, actually the range could hit it, but let's see what the Hydron even wants to do. 3 means it is going to try to use Squall. It's going to try to attack a fire RoboMon, so it doesn't have to move. It can easily use Squall because it is in range 4. This is the ability that if it was near water would do something else, but that's not the case. Water does have advantage against fire. Maybe I should not have been so... Well, it's got a huge range. It could have hit me anyway. So 4 damage plus 2 is 6. I'm going to block 2 of that with these shield die and take 4 more damage on Pandal. Only has 4 left. Might have to be a little bit safer with my action tokens and block some more if we can't finish this off quickly. So we got a lot of movement and a bit of attacking, but no blocking dice. Pandal's up first. We will go ahead and use a movement. 1, 2, 3. Just put it in melee. Corner it there. I think I will have Treadle using Fertilizer Bomb, so we might want to use those stars. I'm going to try to beat it this turn and not worry about blocking. Although I have to do 11 damage. And you know what? I'm going to rewind this, and I'm actually going to have Pandal go 1, 2, 3 to there. I don't know if it matters for reasons I'll say in a second. But I think I will, just in case we don't beat it. I will save my die or my token for defend. I'm going to use this as a basic attack and just do a single point slam for 2 damage. The basic modifier die of -1, so just 1 single damage. That actually doesn't even break its armor. Although, so if you only did 1 damage, the armor blocks the first 2 damage, and it doesn't break if you only do 1. But, so this is why I moved to this position. The rules say that when you push, which Slam has this push symbol, and the 1 dot means we're pushing 1, we would push the Hydron 1 space back. If you push a RoboMon into red or yellow terrain, instead of moving, it does 1 damage. The rules don't say what happens if you would push them off the map, like off the edge, or into ungridded terrain. This tree is ungridded, which to me feels a lot like the red or yellow. I'm basically knocking the Hydron into a tree. Would that work if I knocked him up against the edge of the battlefield as well? That's a more abstract question. But for my playthrough, in terms of push, I'm going to treat ungridded terrain as equivalent to red or yellow terrain for the purposes of push damage. I don't know if that's intended. It seems like knocking it into a tree would be about the same as knocking it into these fragile boxes over here in the corner. So I'm actually going to say that 1 damage is 2 because of the push, and that does break the shield but doesn't do anything else, which means it's all on Treadle to do the rest of the damage. Now Treadle has a climb ability. If it starts next to a tree, it can move 4 extra spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, plus we can move 2 more spaces and go ahead and move 1 more space there. And then use Fertilizer Bomb that costs 3 of Treadle's 7 energy. We're also going to use some number of stars, which is going to be both of these 2 dice here that we rolled. We did use this die as well. No point doing the 3rd die. We'll save the token. Pandal hasn't spent its either. So we're doing Fertilizer Bomb for 5 damage. And again, grass has advantage against water, so we get to roll the green die. We could crit and beat it. And we did get a crit. Crit doubles the damage from 5 to 10. And apart from the little hiccup about breaking armor, we one-shotted it. There could be a little bit of cheating. It maybe should still have its armor, in which case it would have 1 hit point remaining. I'm going to take the win on this one, because again, come on, knocked it into a tree. Win's condition here says we get 2 silver and 1 battery. And we can go back to the old road and the old road music. And let's check out this treasure chest. And our entry here is basically just, again, the rules reference we saw in the previous video about finding doors, chests, and search icons. It also says, why is there a chest just sitting, seemingly in a random location? Why is it unlocked? Why is no one else taking the item inside? It's probably better not to ask these questions. Just assume the universe is smiling on you and helping you along your adventure. And now we need to roll to see what we find down here on this chart. Let's roll a d4. We got a 4, which means we get a medium programmer. Not bad. Mark down our first one of those. Oh, there's also a RoboMon Center. So the first time you visit one, you can freely heal all of your RoboMon of damage. After that, you can pay 10 silver to do so, which is a pretty steep price. Currently only have 10. We do have a small repair kit, so we could heal Pandal that way, or we could cash in this free heal. I think I'm going to use my repair kit and maybe save that free heal for later. So let's get rid of all that damage and find out what this little kid is so excited about. 1203. That's another battle. All right, here we go. Put it back in position and go. Fanboy Scott says, I like jeans. They're way better than shorts. It's an inside joke. All you Pokemon fans. He has RoboMon number 17, which is an Armadillo. Must like digging. 9 health, 4 basic movement, 1 armor, 34 speed. Scratch, rock throw, and burrow. It's an earth type. First one we've seen. Put his little token down. Very basic tree layout. And again, Treadle is going to have the advantage. So let's put him here. So actually starting next to a tree, we'll let him climb immediately right off the bat. Fastest is 50, then 34, then 28. And let's roll these action dice. A lot of specials. Don't forget the armor. I'm tempted to not even have Pandal move because I just want to save the movement for Treadle to get into range and just try to do a one-shot fertilizer bomb. Maybe not a one-shot, but maybe a two-shot. Also, Fireball would be weak against the Armadigo anyway. Didn't roll any armor though, and we don't want to take a bunch of damage. So I am going to move once with Pandal and save this defend token in the corner of the trees here for now. Armadigo is going to do something. Rolled a 2, which means it's going to try to rock throw a fire type. You do have a fire type. Speed is only 4. Rock throw is range 2, but that's definitely not close enough. And now Treadle with the climb is going to be able to move 4 right off the bat. And we only saved 1 movement die. So he's actually 1 space away from getting to use Fertilizer Bomb unless you use the token. So I am going to do that and let him move that last space. RoboMon can move through each other. So I'm not like blocking the Armadigo in from getting to Pandal. But I think I could go here and still attack in melee. You can't move diagonally unless you have agility, but you can attack diagonally. But I think we'll stay. And yeah, we'll go ahead and use Fertilizer Bomb with 2 special attack dice. Do have to spend 3 energy. And let's roll with advantage. 5 plus 3 more is 8 damage. Down to 6 from the armor, which means Armadigo has 3 health left. And we can roll up for our next round, starting with Pandal. Might just be able to finish it off. Movement, we don't really care about. We do need to move Pandal a bit. Sure, we might need to move him a lot because Fireball is his range attack and that's weak. So let's just use, we didn't roll any stars, but 3, 6, 9, 12 movement if we want it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's enough. So we'll just use 2 movement for Pandal. Actually, let's move 1 more so that we can knock him into the tree again. So I'm doubling down on that rule. 2 basic attack dice, we'll do a slam. Let's do 3 basic attacks for a slam for 5 damage. With the basic modifier of -2, so only 3 damage, plus the knockback 1 into the tree for a total of 4, but we only needed 3 to finish off Armadigo. 2 on 1 is just not fair. And we get 2 silver and 1 small repair kit. Nice. Got 1 of those. I think I'll go ahead and collect these search icons before I keep going. So I just need to roll on the chart down at the bottom. This one uses a D4. Again, so we got 2 searches. 1 is a battery, and 4 is a wire. Grab that. And now we have 2 wire. Hopefully I need those later. See what this backpack guy is up to. Back on this page, but don't look here, we're over here now. This is the hikers enjoying the shade. You know, if RoboMon hadn't been able to rebuild this area all those years ago, these little guys wouldn't have anywhere to live. I'm talking about some squirrels that are running around. I guess they made their homes maybe in this robot? Yeah, guess so. He says, and now they've made a home inside the thing that tried to destroy us all. The thing that was created for destruction has become a source of life. And down here, this scientist wants to battle us too. Just say hello. Say allo. Say allo to my little Franz. And he has a Treadle. So this is the same Treadle card that I used to battle against when it was a wild RoboMon before I reprogrammed it and got mine. But that versus card went back into the versus stack. I call it a stack because it's not shuffled. Decks get shuffled. Unshuffled cards are stacks. And yeah, but now I'm battling it again. It's a different Treadle, clearly for our continuity's purposes. But yeah, we got a Treadle on Treadle battle. But I think Pandal's Fireball is going to be a little bit more relevant this time. So we have my circle Treadle against this square Treadle. Circle takes the square. Let's hope. They do have identical speeds, which actually means mine gets to go first, which may or may not be what I want. Pandal's still faster. 2 armor on the Treadle. Action tokens. And the action dice. Ooh, some armor. That could be good. Treadles are slow. Just a couple of attacks. I'm going to give all my movement to Pandal because its fire type attack will be strong against Treadle. And we're not so worried about getting Treadle into range this time. So let's use 9 movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's definitely in range to use Fireball. So let's use this as a Fireball along with that. So that's a special attack. I'd love a third special symbol so we could hit that 6 damage point, but we're only at 3 with 2 specials. So we'll spend 2 energy to use Fireball, and we're going to be rolling with advantage. So that's 3 plus 3 is 6. Breaks both shields and puts 2 damage. 4 left. We could use Overcharge, take 1 to add 2 more, but that would still leave Treadle with 2 health, so we don't need to damage ourselves for that. Although I realize I have been forgetting about that, so I wonder if there was a moment in this playthrough when I should have used that, not sure. Treadle doesn't have any more movement dice, but we can use Climb since he started next to a tree to move 4. And then we may as well use this token to move 2 more. I think Diagonal counts as being next to a tree because you can attack diagonally, so why wouldn't that count? Then this Treadle, let's see what it wants to do. 3 means it wants to use Fertilizer Bomb against an electric type. Can't do that. Ground type, can't do that. Or water type, can't do that. So we'll just attack the closest RoboMon. At least that's what I'm assuming it wants to do. Fertilizer Bomb is range attack, so it doesn't need to move. Grass has disadvantage against fire, so it'll be rolling the red die, but it's 6 damage. And 6, that's the miss again. Lucky me. So no damage, and I assume that means the push one doesn't apply either. So we'll take it back from the top with Pandal, and maybe just close it out with a Fireball, although we rolled no special. I could do a Fireball for 1. You know what? With +2s and +3s, even a 1 is pretty good. Actually, the worst roll would be a crit, which just would double 1 into 2. So yeah, you know what? I'm just going to use this attack token as a special to do a Fireball for 1. I do have to spend 2 energy in order to do that, which is very expensive. 1 damage. 1 with advantage might be good enough. +3 is 4, and that'll do it. For winning, I get 2 silver and a battery. 3, 6, 9, 11 batteries. Maybe I should catch something. Last thing to explore would be this exploration node down here, 2604. You hear an odd and distant sound that is distinctly organic, not mechanical, not a hum, not clinking and clanking. Something drawn out and random, something in danger. As you head toward it, it sounds more and more like a scream for help. You push through the brush until you reach a large metal access well. It is wide and square and very old. It was likely, in its time, used to reach one of the many underground caves or tunnel systems in the area, or to reach fresh water. Is someone there? The voice echoes up from the bottom of the structure. You call back, and you can hear the relief in their voice. Oh, wonderful, wonderful, please. Can you help me get back out? Looking around, you try to figure out the best way to help. There's a large cable nearby, and you begin to lower it in. Perfect, yells the voice. Just like that. Now I need to make an intelligence check. So there's a symbol up here, the intelligence, the dialogue cut off back up to the top here. Pulling out my character sheet, my intelligence is +2. That was the highest one I took. And on top of that, Treadle actually gives an intelligence bonus with this light bulb symbol. So I get to roll +3 on 2d6 in order to make my intelligence check. So let's see what Treadle and I can do. 5 and 3 is a good roll. +3 more is 11, which is the 10+ result. Very nice. As you gather the cable, you walk around the whole well, quickly finding a safety ladder that you knew had to be there. What are you doing? Says the voice down below. You tell them to climb the ladder unless there is a reason they can't. The voice stutters, unable to respond, and another person emerges from the shadows on the far side of the well. It isn't working, yells the new person, but you know better than to just fall for a trap. So you tell them to make a deal. You press a foot against the pole that holds the hidden ladder in place. One good kick and the old thing would likely collapse to the bottom. Okay, the voice yells back. Let's make a deal. Gain 2 silver. Okay, I guess it was a trap. They were trying to trap me, and if I'd failed my intelligence check, I would have fallen for it and lost 2 silver. Now I've explored everything on the map. The question is, do I want to go west or east? I mean, I'm kind of wandered this direction. I started here and went this way, so I don't know one way for the other, so I'll probably go that way. That'll be for the next video, but for now, let's go ahead and explore, or rather use my RoboMon finder to see if there are anything I can battle and maybe try to reprogram. I'm gonna roll 2d6 to see where it falls on this grid. I got a 2 and a 4, which actually, at least I got an X and Y axis. I'm one off from being able to battle against RoboMon number 14. There's 2 number 14s and 2 number 17. I still don't know what 17 was, but that was the RoboMon that I could have possibly encountered on the previous page. Although, as you know, I went and found the rare Treadle instead. But I'm gonna go ahead and spend a battery. So I need to spend a battery just to use the RoboMon finder. I'm now gonna spend a battery to change the 2 into a 3. And that means I'm in this position here, verse number 14. So let's get number 14 out of the verse deck. And this is not a PvP battle. This is a wild RoboMon battle. So we don't need a grid, and movement don't matter. The time does. So whenever we roll this purple timer symbol, we've been ignoring that in the competitive battles, but here those are important, because if we have 4 or more on the Burn Viper and it takes its turn, it will run away. We lose our opportunity to reprogram it. Let's go ahead and move the adventure book out of the way and put our Burn Viper up here. It does have 1 armor token. Speed is 54, so it's actually first, then Pandel and Treadle. And let's go ahead and get our action dice. Even though we are not going first, we could use the armor. And we got some armor, so that's nice. Positions don't matter, so movement doesn't matter, but this, again, this timer symbol means we're gonna add 1 time token to the Burn Viper. These won't help us. And Burn Viper rolls a 4, which means it wants to use Flamethrower against an ice or grass type RoboMon. Do have a grass type. Wow, so that's 5 damage with advantage against Treadle. This could be rough. 8 damage. Let's go ahead and block that down to 4. Or we could even block 2 more of it with the action token. So let's do that. So let's take only 2 damage. That was a lot of blocking I had to do, and still take damage against a wild RoboMon. Come on, the competitive battles weren't this hard. We got 3 wilds, but no normal attacks. Burn Viper is a fire type. We don't have any advantage against that. To spend energy just to convert these wild symbols into a symbol we would want to use, but we don't want to just not attack. Fertilizer Bomb does the most damage, but it actually would get a disadvantage die against Burn Viper's fire type. I'm going to try to hit it as hard as I can with Pandal. So I'm going to use its attack token and 2 wilds as basic attack, which means I'm attacking with 3 basic attacks to slam for 5, but I have to spend 1 energy to use slam and 2 energy to convert these wilds into basic attack, so that costs 3. Then I'm going to roll the basic modifier die to modify a 5 into a 6. Blocked by 2 armor is 4, which brings Burn Viper down to 2 hit points, which means it's actually reasonable for me to try to reprogram it now. So I'm going to spend Treadle's turn reprogramming it. I'm a little bit concerned, but we're going to bring out our box, and we need to roll a d4, unless I want to use my medium reprogrammer, which I just got, but I'm going to stick with this one of my small ones. I need to get it as close to the screen as I can. Again, 2, I need a total of 2 or more. And it is touching the green, which means the 3 that I rolled gets a +3 for a total of 6. 6 is more than the 2 remaining hit points on the Burn Viper, so I have successfully reprogrammed it. And with that, Burn Viper joins my team. I already have a fire type, so I don't know that I'll be bringing it out, although if Pandal takes some damage, I could definitely switch it out. But Burn Viper will join Sparky, although I'm going to have to put this versus mode of Burn Viper back and get RoboMon card number 14. So this will go back in here, and then I can get the Burn Viper out of here, and this Burn Viper is now on my team. So it's got an intelligence symbol, so that's interesting. I think I would actually get 2 pluses to intelligence now. I'm not totally sure. I wonder if there's a maximum. Tail Whip, a range attack with piercing, which Treadle also has a piercing attack. We haven't used it yet, but that would ignore armor if the enemy has armor. or constrict or flamethrower. She actually has 2 basic attacks. That's interesting, and 1 special attack. We also haven't used the trap symbol, but Treatle also has that on clamp. Treatle's clamp actually has both the symbols, whereas Burn Viper split them up between tail whip and constrict. The clamp means, or trap means, you roll a d4 when you use that attack, and on a 1, the enemy RoboMon is trapped, can't move on its turn, and attacks with disadvantage on its next turn. Once you have trapped a RoboMon, however, for the duration of the battle, if it would try to be trapped again, instead of rolling a d4 to see if it gets trapped, you have to roll a d6, so it's less likely that you could trap in succession. But that'll end our battle. And that ends really everything I want to do in the map. I could hunt for more RoboMon. I still don't know what number 17 is. Which reminds me, I did successfully reprogram that Burn Viper, so I have to mark off that I've used 1 down to 2 small reprogrammers. I may as well use this little RoboMon station to get a free heal, just only 2 off of Treatle. And let's go to page 13 next time. So we'll hit the music to Pyrite Cove. But if you want to check it out with me, tune in next time. Thanks for watching. Subscribe so we can get more subscribers, and bye.